June 6, 1944, Allied forces fought their way up the Normandy beaches in France. The goal of this elaborate attack, known as D-Day, was to cripple Germany. This plan had spies, inflatable tanks, armed soldiers, and revolutionary war technology and tactics. The attack was instrumental in ending World War II. In the year 1939, Hitler invaded Poland on September 1st. This marked the beginning of one of the most costly and gruesome wars in human history. Originally, the Allied powers were the Soviet Union, England, and France, and the Axis powers were Germany and Japan. 1940. But in 1940, the Nazis took over France. Then, 7 months later, after the attacks on Pearl Harbor, the United States of America joined the war. Soviet Union President Joseph Stalin had wanted the Allies to open a new front since 1940. His country was the country bearing the brunt of the war, as his country had a final 14 to 15% of the total casualties and was next to Germany. This led him to campaigning a second front with America and Britain. Britain sort of agreed. However, Winston Churchill had previously wanted a front in Africa and a front in Italy instead of a front in France. In 1941, Joseph Stalin campaigned with the United States of America and Great Britain to open the new Western Front. 1942. In 1942, Winston Churchill and Franklin D. Roosevelt finally agreed. They planned the attack to be along the Normandy beaches in France. However, this is not the year they started the planning of the attack, or even the gathering of soldiers or the gathering of supplies. In 1943. They planned the attack beginning in earnest early in 1943 to the middle of 1944. In 1943, they planned where they would attack, when it would be, and how they would do it. In the months preceding D-Day, Hitler, who had known about a different attack the Allies had tricked him into believing would actually happen, had set up a defensive blockade called the Atlantic Wall along the beaches by the English Channel. It consisted of bunkers, machine gun nests, tens of thousands of soldiers, landmines, Zek hedgehogs, and panzer divisions. He had a focus in Pas de Calais because he believed their lies that they would attack there. The Allies had to keep it a secret where they would attack, or Hitler would be prepared for them. For this purpose, there were very many flukes and deceptions leading up to this attack, which they called D-Day. This included inflatable tanks, spies for the Nazis that helped the Allies, a fake base, rubber planes, and even a false broadcast to make the Nazis believe they would attack along Pas de Calais. They even bombed along the quote-unquote attack points. It was even in the name. D-Day was known as D-Day as a secret code to make it so no one figured it out. And, unlike popular belief, it stands for Day-Day, not Doomsday and Death Day, to say the exact day it would happen. And 3 days before D-Day, a submarine went to the beaches of Sword to see if it was strong enough to hold the tanks. The actual attack began on June 6, 1944, at 6 o'clock a.m. Battleships and carriers sailed across the English Channel. Planes flew off the carriers and bombed along the real attack points, which were called by the codenames of Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Sword. The battleships had been shelling the beaches for hours. Then the landing craft sped towards the beaches, landing hundreds of thousands of soldiers to take the beach. Accompanying the soldiers to the beach were tanks converted to boats for D-Day. They had an inflatable covering for flotation and 2 propellers in the back for propulsion. They landed almost 570,000 tons of supplies, weaponry, and vehicles. When they landed, they were met with machine guns, mortars, and panzer tanks. But 40 out of the 50 panzer divisions were with Hitler and not at the beach, because he wasn't worried, even though he should have been. When he woke up 6 hours after D-Day had started, he wasn't very scared, and even thought it was just another deception to throw him off their scent. But he still sent a few divisions of tanks to the beach, just in case it wasn't. And during the attack, he sent more soldiers, almost 10 times as many as were there before. The most bitter beach was the American beach, Omaha. The planes had missed there when they dropped their bombs. So when the soldiers ran up, they got cut down by enemy fire. They were getting pulverized by explosives. But at all of the beaches, the Allies eventually broke through the Nazi defenses. Even so, the attack was extremely costly on both sides. On the Allied side, almost 4,500 Allied soldiers died, and on the Nazi side, almost 9,000 Axis soldiers were killed. As Colonel George A. Taylor said, 2 kinds of people are staying on this beach, the dead and those who are going to die. The soldiers of D-Day had to be brave. They knew that their death could help bring about the end of the rampaging and bloody war. They were completely prepared to die. Showing this, Colonel Charles D. Canham said, "They're murdering us here. Let's move inland to get murdered." This just goes to show how ready they were to sacrifice their lives for mankind and the welfare of our planet Earth. (1945) And D-Day wasn't just that one day in 1944. It kept going until the May of the year 1945, almost 11 months later. On May 8, 1945, Axis General Dietrich von Colsitz surrendered the country of France back to the Allied powers. This gave the Allies a foothold in Europe, and eventually it helped bring World War II to a close on September 2, 1945. Because of D-Day and other battles, millions of lives were saved from the bloodthirsty Nazi war machine. In conclusion, D-Day was significant in all of world history because it had revolutionary war tactics and war technology, and it helped in ending World War II by giving the Allied forces a foothold in the continent of Europe, and by making it so that Adolf Hitler had to split his forces between the 2 fronts. D-Day was, in my uneducated opinion, one of the most pivotal events in the battles of World War II.